Is that good?
Yeah, perfect.
All right, good.
Bang, bang, boom. I'm Alessia Andrade, your host for the American Dream New York.
She's really going to show us the heart of New York City.
Join me as I explore the most magical city in the world.
We're really going to show the entire city.
There's a lot more we want to show you.
Brooklyn, downtown, uptown, east side, west side, Harlem, Queens.
Welcome to the American Dream, New York. This is Tribeca. This hip, handsome area known for its architecture and cobblestone streets is also one of New York City's most desirable residences.
My Americana ain't no use living for tomorrow without a doubt. We're all missing out. It's all in my Americana.
I'm Danny Davis from the Corcoran Group. Welcome to my home, also my other office in Tribeca. I'm here now working with the Lisas. We're finishing up a meeting. Then we're gonna have a full day where we head down to Laughing Man Coffee in Duane Park, one of my favorite areas in Tribeca. I'll show you around a little bit, and then from there we have to go to a meeting where I'm meeting an architect, great architect from ODA, Iran Chen. I'm very excited to meet and talk with him. Make yourself at home, and we're gonna finish up what we're doing.
Got our filters on with all our guts spilling out. Hey, put your best rags on and spend the night on the town.
Okay, we're back. Welcome to Tribeca. This is Duane Park. Here we are at Laughing Man Coffee. Pretty much the go-to place after drop-off around the corner at the kids' school. Now we're gonna walk a little bit. I'll show you around. There's a cute little park over there, which is actually called Duane Park. This way we've got a farmer's market 2 to 3 times a week. And I'll show you a little bit of the hood until we get to our meeting on Lisbonard. In addition to Laughing Man, where we go after drop-off, this is our go-to bakery in Tribeca. It's called Duane Park Patisserie. We're there every week, every Friday to get my daughters, my twins, croissants before school. They love it. Now let's go to Lisbonard. Hi, welcome to 39 Lisbonard. I'm here with Iran Chen from ODA, a good friend of mine and a great architect. This is a very special loft to me. I've had it on the market for sale for quite some time.
Right.
And who better to renovate and create a dream loft than you?
Oh, thank you. I mean, I'm glad to be part of it. This is obviously an amazing space. 50 foot of front of windows, over 100 feet depth.
Yes. No,
this is unheard of, isn't it?
It's unheard of. I mean, maybe you can see this in a Soho loft, but in Tribeca, it's very rare.
Yeah,
And
that's fantastic.
it's incredibly special. I'm not sure if you're aware, but this show that we're doing, it's called The American Dream.
Right.
And I'd like to get a little bit of history on you, because I know a little bit about you from your days in Beersheba, and then going to, I mean, you know, I love Israel. I've spent a lot of time there myself.
Right.
And then going to B'Tzalel, finishing #1 in your class.
Right.
And here you are in Manhattan, you know, doing crazy skyscrapers and incredible commercial buildings, but now also getting into residential.
Yes.
So I'd like to know more about that.
You know, the trajectory from Israel is quite insane. We know that New York City is such a city that it's a gateway to the world. It's a portal. And when I came in, I had big dreams, but really nothing. I mean, it was an American story for me.
I love it.
I came in to visit a friend. I said, I'm going to try and get a job. And 20 years later, here we are.
That's amazing. So why don't we go through the space a little bit?
Sure. I think the goal for me is to tie the two edges together through the space that is in between, kind of to weave it, bring the light as deep as I can into it, but also maintain kind of these viewpoints that crosses through.
It's incredibly special.
It's amazing just to be able to stand at the kitchen right here, or what will become the dining room or the living room, and be able to see all the way through 100 feet into the windows to Canal. That's kind of my goal.
Okay, so now we're in the back half of the loft. This is the Canal Street side. I know that from showing this for 6 months, 7 months, one of the challenging issues people had were what to do with this huge wall and how to create the bedrooms.
Right.
So I'm sure you've figured this out.
Well, I didn't figure it out, but I have a concept and an idea. Clearly, one of the nicest thing about this loft is the brick wall, right? We want to see the rawness and we want to expose it, but yet it divides the space pretty harshly.
Right.
So what we, I think, are gonna do is we're gonna chop that wall and create big openings.
Okay.
Supporting the structure with steel beams that we're gonna bring in.
So thank you all for joining us on The American Dream. It's been a pleasure hanging with you. Thank you so much for being our guest, my first guest. We've already heard an incredible story from the streets of Beersheba to the streets of Manhattan, and what a true success story you are. Truly an American dream. And for me, when I think about a building like this, which is hundreds of years old, first developed by the Clark brothers, and to the new owner today, it's basically history in the making, and it's putting all the pieces together, and I love being a part of that. That is my American dream. So thank you. Until the next time.
Fantastic.
You're a pro.
I'm James Hegyi with Cooper & Cooper Real Estate. I'm here with my colleague, Roger Abinator, and we're excited to show you what we love so much about Tribeca.
I find Tribeca just have the best blend of old New York and still all those cool things that people are looking for in today's new and exciting New York. One of my favorite places, I come with the wife and with colleagues sometimes, is the Brandy Library. Come on in and take a look. Let's go.
We're here with Flavian, one of the owners of the Brandy Library, and we love this place because it has one of the most extensive collections of whiskeys and brown liquors in all of New York City.
Well, we do have a lot, and it's not just whiskey. You know, you've got a lot of bourbons, you've got a lot of single malt Scotch whiskies, but also cognacs, armagnacs, rums. So it could be a little difficult to just understand the scope of what we're offering here. So we're here to guide.
So being that this is the American dream, what would you recommend if you had one pick to show right now to a novice like ourselves? What would you suggest we try?
Well, I mean, I'd start with something solid, but not any overwhelming of your taste buds. So I wouldn't go for the crazy best, super rich, extra old and all that. I'd go for something like maybe a Glenfarclas 17-year-old.
Welcome to Penthouse 2. This is a sprawling, phenomenal 4-bed, 4.5 bath, 3,000 square foot top level unit. This place is unreal. Some of the major features of this apartment, which smack you right in the face when you walk in, is the unbelievable view. With 4 exposures, you're seeing every iconic landmark in New York City. Let's check it out. Here we are facing north. As you can see, the Empire State Building, Hudson Yards, Billionaires Row. You can see every northern part of Manhattan with every iconic figure. We've got nearly floor-to-ceiling windows. Combined with the whitewashed oak floors, makes this a super sunlit apartment.
To the west, we have the iconic 56 Leonard Building, which kicked off a lot of the new development in the neighborhood.
This is a completely separate chef's kitchen, state-of-the-art appliances. We've got Gaggenau appliances, tundra gray countertops, polyform cabinetry, black and steel backsplash, wine cooler. Oh, and did we mention? The view is unreal.
And this is the epitome of New York living, a true master suite.
On top of the world up here. Look at this view, baby. It doesn't get better than this. 1,200 square foot private rooftop terrace. It can all be yours. This is the American dream. It's what it's all about, right, Roger?
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us. There's more to come.
Woo!
Let's check out the next few agents.
I'm Steve Dawson. And I'm Rob Varvara with Compass. So we're here today in Riverside Park on the Upper West Side of Manhattan. It's one of the city's largest parks, spanning 300 acres from 59th Street all the way to 155th Street. And the park was built in approximately 1872. The Upper West Side is very unique, known for its limestone mansions, pre-war architecture, and some of the most desirable buildings in Manhattan. I am standing here in Riverside Park, which has amazing panoramic views of the Hudson River, and not that far to the east is Central Park. Today, I'm very excited because we are going to take you to one of the most iconic buildings on the Upper West Side, the Apthorpe. The Apthorpe was built in 1906 by William Waldorf Astor and was built around a center courtyard which spans an entire city block from West End to Broadway, 78th to 79th Street, and is famous for its wrought iron gates that are on West End and Broadway that act as entrances to the building. Today we are going to take you behind the scenes of an apartment that we sold to our client, which underwent a multi-million-dollar gut renovation under the supervision of Robert Couturier, a world-renowned interior designer. In fact, this building is so exclusive, we can't even take you inside the gates. We can only show you the apartment itself. Let's go take a look.
When our client was looking for their next apartment, they really wanted pre-war details. High ceilings, large rooms, and a gracious layout. We couldn't find that downtown, so we had to come uptown to the Apthorpe.
When we found this apartment, it was in original condition, but what really stuck out to our buyer were the pre-war details such as the mosaic tiles and the moldings, and they did a really good job at restoring rather than replacing.
Once we found the apartment, our client brought in his dear friend and interior designer, Robert Couturier, who's here today with us to talk about design and this apartment. So Robert, thank you so much for joining us today in this beautiful home that you've designed. And we'd love to hear your thoughts on why design is so important, and especially making an apartment like this into what it is today.
Well, thank you first for having me. It's a pleasure to be here, of course. I think that if you don't design an apartment, you don't really make it your own. The process of designing the apartment is for the owner to own it.
So Robert, we'd love to hear about the design of this apartment and what really stood out to you and what you created that made this apartment so special.
So when we found the apartment, well actually Jonathan found the apartment had not been touched in many, many years. Yeah. The one thing that we found were all these wonderful moldings. We added the windows, which are double windows, with French windows. And I think it's what gives the apartment its authenticity, and the fact that it actually is sort of a throwback to another time in New York, when things were sort of slightly more gracious.
This is a spectacular corner 3-bedroom, 3-bath apartment currently on the market for $7.25 million.
And it really offers a design-savvy buyer the perfect opportunity to own an apartment in one of New York's top buildings. Thanks so much for joining us on the Upper West Side of Manhattan today to see this spectacular apartment and meet its designer, Robert Couturier.
I'm Scott Harris from Brown Harris Stevens and the founder of the Harris Residential Team. And for almost 20 years, I've been helping buyers find their dream homes all across Manhattan. People dream big in New York, and they need someone to think big alongside them. And what we do is something called visionary brokerage, where we really listen deeply into what buyers are looking to do. And through that process, we help them find a space that's gorgeous or a space that they can make gorgeous. On the Upper West Side, where I sell a lot of apartments and where I've been working for almost 20 years, there are some spaces with grandeur, and what they need is that buyer to bring them back to life. And this home was given a lovely, loving restoration, not only to bring back the details of this 100-year-old apartment, but to add all of the modern conveniences that a homeowner would really expect. I mean, look at this kitchen. It's what everyone dreams of having in New York, and so very few people do. The attention to detail, every square inch was really considered, and they've created a 4-bedroom, over 3,000 square foot apartment right along Central Park West that is stunning, and I want to hang out here all day long. My client spent over 2 years renovating this apartment, and I really wanted to get in and show it to you because it's just a perfect way to express yourself in New York, grand living. From the kitchen, where you want to just hang out and spend all day in there reading or spending time with family, or the master bedroom where you really feel like the king of the world or the queen of the world, to the living spaces where you have this amazing ceiling height and you really feel the grandeur of what it is to be in New York. We're going to go take a look at an apartment that needs a total renovation, which is my new listing at 875 Fifth Avenue. We're going to meet my colleague, Chloe, right here. We have stepped onto the set of The Godfather.
It feels like it.
So early 70s. It's like amazing. Oh my God, if you look here, it's just great. Like the kitchen is right out of a movie. The wallpaper is amazing. Okay, we've stepped back in time officially.
This is very 1960s vibe, as I would imagine.
Yeah, the color is actually back in style now, but I don't think they're keeping these.
I don't think the funky wallpaper is people's choice right now.
This is where you might have sat and got on the phone and ordered delivery. You're like, hey, can you deliver some food for me? And they would talk to you.
This was pre-seamless.
Pre-seamless, sort of, there's a phone there. Like you'd have a phone and then you'd like stretch the cable and you'd sit down next to your phone book.
Rolodex.
And your Rolodex. And say hello, and you'd like talk to your friends on the phone.
You really feel like you're in a time warp here. It's very charming.
This would be the guest bath. Right?
This would be the guest bath. Do you love this wallpaper, or do you love this wallpaper?
I'm gonna leave it just like this. No. I think this is, when you come into the apartment, you have the opportunity to make a really beautiful guest bath here. Okay, so now we can see some of the pre-war detail. Of course, I'm still blinded by fluorescence. This is the space when you come in, you see the bones. You start to see like, oh, this is what I'm gonna do here. And I think people start to envision how they're gonna take a space and really make it their own. You've seen the before, which is before someone has poured their heart, their soul, their spirit into this renovation. We're gonna go take a look at the after. And what's even more, we're gonna take a look at my own apartment. I just finished a very big renovation, and we're gonna talk to my friend and architect, Alan Berman, and talk all about what it took to renovate the apartment. I've lived on the Upper West Side for over 15 years and had the opportunity to create a dream home. And it's perfect. We're talking all about renovations, finding those apartments that are, in need of a ton of work and really making them into something totally beautiful. And here we are, my own home. And I thought I'd have my architect, Alan Berman, who I adore, come over as we're just putting the final touches on the apartment. There he is.
Hello.
Alan.
Hello, Scott. How you doing? Good
Come
to
on
see you.
in.
Thank you,
Can't wait to walk you through.
Okay, I'm excited to see.
Let's talk about the apartment.
Okay.
So, Alan, you've been doing apartment renovations, interiors for 20 years.
Long time.
And I don't know if you remember when we met. How we met, it was really kind of a funny coincidence. So I called your office. I said, I'm thinking about renovating this apartment on 102nd and Riverside. Turns out
I live here. I did live here.
You lived in the building. You knew the super. You knew all of you knew where all the bodies were buried.
Ins and out and dead bodies.
And I said, let's go do this thing. So here we are, 7 years later. You are my go-to architect, and for a lot of people too, when these pre-war apartments have lots of challenges.
Yes.
And you seem to be expert at that. So what was the biggest challenge about doing this renovation, other than we just did the stairs?
Well, you always want to make the rooms look like their proportion is original to the house.
Yeah.
You don't want the rooms to feel choppy with columns left over. You want rectangular or square spaces. And I think that's what we did here. It feels like it could have been designed this way 100 years ago.
Awesome. So Alan, you were so creative in making these stairs. What were the other, what are you most proud of in terms of the creative solutions that you came up with?
Well, the biggest thing is in doing the stairs and in running central air, we're able to make the central air and the ducts seamless, so you really don't see them in any space, or where they go to the outside. It looks like it was always laid out this way, and you don't see them.
So now we're standing in kind of my dream place, the office, and through your creativity, we were able to create an extra bath upstairs, 3 bedrooms. One of those was created out of a kitchen, but it's really big and spacious for my son. And we turned his old bedroom into a stair. So I just want to say thank you. It was totally great working with you, and you helped me and my wife create this dream place. We just could not be happier.
Well, it's always a pleasure when you're working with nice people. It's always a pleasure when they have good taste and understand the vision. And the best part of the job is walking through at the end and seeing this, and it makes me happy. It's awesome.
We didn't really talk about the challenge of combining apartments to make it feel like it really was always that way, and creating a kitchen in some of these pre-war apartments that's the right size for the apartment that you've created. Today we got to spend some time with Alan Berman, one of my favorite architects, and Chloe Chazanoff from my team, where we looked at an apartment that's really the before, and then we got to take a look at a gorgeous apartment on Central Park West that is a dream for almost anyone. I'm Scott Harris from American Dream New York, and I can't wait to show you more beautiful apartments.
Can we try a little sample of one of your flavors? That was winner. That was a winner. Thank you.
Upper ranks, don't care what you think. Hit, full drip, making more than we like to admit. Whip, zip.
Bringing you the best of luxury real estate from the best city in the world. You're watching American Dream TV. See you next time.
Don't sleep on this one. La. Get it. Me the plan, don't need another grand. Don't sleep on this one. Don't sleep on this one.